Alright, lads.
Well, lads.
Alright.
Well, this is the first time I've seen you since Hong Kong. How was it? How was Hong Kong?
You can answer that one first.
In what respect, Jay Hemp?
In general, how'd you get on in Hong Kong?
That's good crack, yeah. Check out a diet from drinking orange juice.
What did you eat?
Fries, like. Rice and crab meat.
Alright.
But it wasn't really crab meat, it was fake crab meat.
Yeah, it said on the actual menu, imitation crab meat.
What was it then?
Imitation crab meat.
Yeah, well, that's so sketchy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was the only thing
Tastes
he had
nice.
that somehow him of all people, like he's the only one that took that and was actually alright. I was terrified that he was just going to be on the toilet for 4 days, like.
Yeah, and he survived with the...
Jake, I just had like spag ball for 2 weeks. Like,
Yeah, it's a good meal, like, fill.
so much grease and oil and all from.
I had a competition, mate. Wasn't risking nothing.
Carbs. Like carb diet.
That's it.
Yeah,
And that's
support
all
it. Yeah.
Bought orange juice problem now, like.
Right, so might as well address my head first.
Yeah, so...
Again.
I think it's probably sick again. He has another mark on his head.
This one's not as bad. It was a lot worse like 2 weeks or when we came back. So you don't really know. So what happened was me and him.
Right, so what happened was sitting there having food, and he's like, "Oh, I'm really thirsty. Bought orange juice." Oh, so I starts drinking it. Right, it's like extremely dramatic. Grabs his chest as he stands up, like, choking on the orange juice. Stands up, faints, sprints like sideways head first into a big fucking wooden like gated wall. Smashed his face, lying on the floor. I was over, I picked him up. I was like, "What's going on with you?" Like, and then obviously I didn't see all the blood underneath him, like, so I just thought he banged his head. But like, Theo started laughing. He's like, "Oh, just choked on the orange juice, went down the wrong way." Like, and Theo started laughing, and then like some Hong Kong woman came over and started laughing, and then like seeing the puddle of blood under his head, and just like, "Oh no." So
I was just flat on the floor, so I don't remember any of that. I just remember like standing up and then waking up and then on the floor and I was looking out sideways and all I could hear is he was like, "Alright," and I was just like, "Alright," and he's like, "What you have to do, you idiot?" Like, I was like, "Hey, just drinking orange juice," like, and then he was just like, "Mate, your head is covered in blood," like, I was like, "Alright." And then we ended up having to get like your one came in, some girl came over and just happened to be like a cardiac nurse or something, and she was chatting us through it, because other than that some lad was just standing there with like a KFC napkin over my head like the whole time. He's like, "Are you okay, sir?" I was like, and we couldn't see it, and so I didn't know what was going on, and then they eventually rang an ambulance and I had to get like strapped. So I couldn't really move my head because he didn't know if there was like a neck injury or anything. So I was just like flat and I was just trying to look at Fitz with my eyes, and he was just freaking out trying to grab all the bags and all because he knew that we had to go to the hospital. And then obviously like we started thinking like, we're gonna miss the flight, like, and like I'm in the thing and I was like in the ambulance just strapped up and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not missing our flight," like, which was obviously just being like, "Oh, well, you have to talk to our supervisor, you have to liaise." And he was like, "Yeah, but who do I liaise with?" It's like, these are the numbers. And she just kept passing it on so much. And we 100% thought we were going to miss the flight.
I'd say,
yeah. Year one, I was like, I was told someone, like a representative for Lufthansa was going to come. And she was like, "Yes, I am the representative for Lufthansa." I was like, "What happens then?" She's like, "Oh, I have to contact." I was like, "Yeah, you're the person I was supposed to contact." Like,
she was in the ambulance with us. So she was standing in the ambulance and we were like, "What happens if we miss this flight? Like, we're not going to, like, we're after going through check-in and all that." And she's like, "Oh, you will have to liaise." But they 100% didn't want us getting on the flight. So when we got into the airport, I keep mixing up the airport and the hospital. We got into the hospital, probably still good gust, like, in fairness, like. So we got in, got off the ambulance, and they put me on a wheelchair.
Ah, the good old days.
And then, so when I got on the chair, I kind of like proper got like wrapped and bandaged and all, and I was just seeing him up at the desk freaking out, and I just started wheeling up towards him and I was like, "Alright, Vince!" And your man, the nurse, ran after me. He was like, "You have to come back here, sir." And I was just like, "Oh, what?"
You could look at it and bring you to mental home instead, like.
And then, but they put us down as urgent, and we were literally only 45 minutes in the hospital. And that, like, so they looked at my head and they said, "You need stitches." They gave me an x-ray and got stitched up, and the girl, like, obviously didn't take the stitching well at all. I was just like lying there and I was like shaking and all, like, good choice. She was like, are you in pain, sir? It's like, oh God! She's just like ripping through my head.
Jesus.
And then she just like got us out, signed off the thing to say like we were fit to travel.
Yeah.
And me and him were like, right, we're done. I'm like covered in like plaster and all this kind of stuff, like whole half of my head just has plaster all over it. And we ran out of the hospital like, right, we're gonna get to the air, we're gonna make it, like. We walked there, we're like, where's the exit? And we're just like looking around, and we had to like hop a wall and like jump over the wall, run around to this taxi rank, and it's just like a deserted like taxi rank. There's 6 taxis in and not one taxi, like not one person in any of them. And we just started trying to flag one down, and then got in that.
How much did you pay that taxi driver actually?
I paid him like triple what.
It was
like
20 Hong Kong dollar, and Geraghty was like 100.
Why?
Because I didn't want to wait for the change. I was running in, and then like you could see we were going through security again, and it's obviously all still the same staff, and they're just like, "Were you not here earlier?" And I was like, "Yeah, I fell." And then legging it through security and all again, and somehow we actually made it for the flight. The woman at the desk, she sees my head and all, she's like, "Oh, you are the guy who fell, yes?" I was like, "Yeah." And you could see they were just like did not want us like on that flight at all. She's like, "Oh, I have to go talk to the people on the flight," and I'm just standing there with my cert that says I'm cleared to fly, and I'm like, "Look, it says I can fly."
So good, like.
And she wasn't really having any of it, but then they walked us down, and I think they just wanted to see if I was responsive.
Yeah.
So they talked to us, and then they were like, "Oh, but like there's no doctor on board and all." And we were like, "Look, pay for the flight though. Like I'm cleared to travel. I've been given a cert." She's like, "Yeah," and so they let us on, and then Arron was like, "Here, mate, you're not going to sleep. I'm not letting that happen. Like, if you go to sleep, I'm going to wake you up." It's like, "Arron, you'll be asleep before I am." Turn around, like 10 minutes on the flight, and he just drool everywhere. It was like, "Oh yeah, good one, Arron. You got to keep me awake, yeah."
How cold. You slept for 8 hours straight, like.
You did.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, you're not sleeping on the flight, mate. We're gonna be waking you every 10 minutes." Just dead.
It's so good, like.
Passed out on the train.
So that was an experience anyway. Jesus, don't forget that.
Yeah, but I think it kind of ended up taken away from what we went for,
Yeah.
because since we've come back, I've kind of been like Two-Face from like Batman, because like from the left, people, if they're walking in towards me, they just see like it's alright, and they were like, "Oh, Jamie, how did you get on?" And you can see them just like, and then you have to explain what happened to your head instead of like talking about the competition and stuff. But sure.
The head's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's just like there's always a fiasco with us anyway when we go anywhere, so it's just something.
That's what you when you got here. This is the deal, not like.
There's always a wheelchair involved. Isn't there? Like, you were obviously there for supporting Gero as well, so in general in Hong Kong, what was the whole experience like in your position?
It's very relaxed, like. We didn't really do much until the actual day, like, we just kind of strong around. But, oh, I didn't do that. Competition was good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's class.
Okay.
But I'm just interested in you answering that, because like it's different for you than it was for me. Like you were going in as like not a spectator, like, but someone who's like and more of a coaching role than a sporting role, and like that's what I thought. Like you would be like what did you feel like the preparation? Did you think the preparation and stuff was good? Was there any new change?
Like, we didn't really, like, what preparation did we do, really, like?
Yeah, so that's what we're asking. Is there any new change?
Yeah, like, we didn't, you know. If you're planning it again, like, definitely plan somewhere where there's actual equipment to train, like, hotel had no gym, there's no bars around us. Like, it was fairly warm, so you didn't have to worry about, like, a career like that, but there's nowhere to, like, go and stretch. The one time we stretched was the beach.
Didn't have to worry about what, sorry?
Like, the heat, so you didn't have to worry too much about recovery, like.
Oh, right. I said didn't have to worry about curry.
Oh, but like, so one day we went for a stretch, we went to the beach, like.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because like your perspective on it would be different to mine, because I went as the athlete, but you went as like the person in.
Yeah, but if I was going as the athlete, I think you were very focused on like seeing if you're like sightseeing and wanting to go to different places and stuff. Like whereas if I was going, all I'd be focusing on was like
Just waiting for that.
Mate, all you want to do was go to Disneyland.
that
Like,
was one day, like that was after. No, but like the difference between Holland and Hong Kong was much different. Like in Holland, we were in the gym every day, in the parking every day. We didn't do that. We just slept all night. Like.
Holland gave us a better opportunity for that.
Yeah, I think if we planned it better,
But
we just
we
booked
were
what they
told
said.
where that's where we were
Yeah, but not
told to
everyone
stay.
stayed there. Like, I think we had to.
Yeah, we weren't risking it.
Yeah, but like if we booked closer, even like half an hour closer to the parks, like well,
There was no park.
there was. We went to the park.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, it was awful, but it was better.
Forty
Working
back
back.
though.
It still could have.
Yeah, we went to the anyone that doesn't know, like we went to the actual like 540 park that has like that's like the tutorial for learning 540s.
Everyone knows it. Except Fitz.
I think everyone knows except for you.
But now, like I think you're right that like the preparation was definitely different, but this time like we had like a much longer flight. Like Holland was much easier to plan than Hong Kong because we've been in Holland before, and then we knew where the competition was on. It was an outdoor facility that's just ready to go, so you could get used to the bars for the week. But in Hong Kong, when we got there and we started asking people like, is there parks to go to? And we like they recommend like they sent us one or two, and we looked at them, and like the one we did end up going to just was not suitable for like freestyle at all. Like, and we had to go the other side of the like country for that. So it was like a 2-hour bus journey over. Obviously, we've nothing else to be doing anyway, but we went for 2 hours to go to this park, and then it was 2 hours back, and it like the place we stayed in. Good start for you. this is gonna go on now. Yeah. But
that dusty room.
where we went like where we went in Holland, like we deliberately went to a spot that we knew had a gym. For anyone that's just listening, you're gonna just listen to Aaron sneezing there for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And he just took a tissue.
Have fun to have a conversation. Yeah, that's...
But like yeah, so when we went to Holland, we could pick it. The place we stayed in, we'd stayed before, so we knew I had a gym, so we could go do all those things. And then there's a lot of like with Hong Kong, we'd never gone before. You're not thinking of, not that you're not thinking, but like you just go where you're told to go. Like the guys that organise it tell you to stay here, you just stay there. Do you know what I mean? Like they're organising it, and because of the trouble and stuff over there, that we didn't obviously know or how bad it was, but you're hearing things. You're like, you know, so we just okay, we stay there. We're not going to risk staying further than that and stuff.
I think that like in the future, like we didn't actually look at any of that stuff. That
You see
all we
anything?
looked at was the hotel where we were going. That was it. We didn't look at like what facilities were around us and like that. Like none of that stuff was planned in advance. Like
The facility side.
yeah, none of that stuff was planned. Like none of that actual prep was planned. Like neither of us actually planned. Yeah, how long it would take us to get somewhere to train, what prep we were gonna do before we train. Like obviously we knew we gotta do glutes and stuff, but like you didn't know where.
This was good. Like sure we get glue trained on it. Like.
Jamie needs glute activation. That's all. But yeah, we didn't know where you're gonna do it or how long you're gonna be able to do it for each day and stuff like that. None of that was actually planned out. Whereas like definitely could have it.
Holland,
Just give it a mass.
Holland, we definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we heard from Fitz, he was quite relaxed. What was it like in his experience for you, going as the athlete?
I'd say for him, he probably like, just notices that like I'm not very chatty like for the few days before it, and like even if he's just talking, I'm probably not paying much attention to him. Like
I don't like talking to you anyways.
it works well, like because you're just like you're just thinking of Saturday, or you're just thinking of the competition, and like everyone's probably different with regards to how they like deal with that, but you can't say that like everyone going there wasn't just like in that mentality of like I'm thinking of Saturday, and you know it's just all the build up has been towards that. So even like sometimes like he said like we were just going to certain places like on the Wednesday, Thursday and whatever, but like it's almost a distraction just to try and like you know, but you don't want to be distracted either I suppose, but I don't know, I think I'm very thoughtful or something around like Saturday, and that's the only thing I'm really focusing on, and I can't really like. But that would be anyone going into competition, that you can't really get distracted from it, or you find it hard to switch off from thinking from it. And then we were lucky that like Jason gave us like melatonin tablets, like sleeping tablets, and like they helped loads, I think, because I think I would have just been like in Holland we didn't have them, and like you're just, even though you're not saying it, like I'm thinking before I'm going to sleep of like my routine and what I need to catch, and you're over analysing it probably and thinking too much about it. But when you just get us the tablets, as soon as you take them, you're just gone, like, so like you don't really have a chance to like overthink anything, and then you're getting good sleep. But the jet lag was probably where like it was worse. I think it was worse when we got back than when we got there.
It was actually not too bad. I only one day I got back. See the way you're saying about like overthinking stuff. Do you think because you're overthinking so much about your routine that it wasn't practiced enough? Because like,
I've got that routine I was from, so
yeah, but if you like literally had that like as if it was just like a training session, should that still like worry you in your head that you're not going to catch these meals?
I think that's going to be there regardless, though. Like no matter how much, like we talked about that the last time, that he doesn't prepare for anything. Like he'll just walk in blank and just be like, "Oh, alright, lad," but like, and that suits him. So everyone's personality is going to be like that. So like I catch that stuff all the time, not all the time, but you know what I mean. Like I can catch that stuff in every session pretty much. But when you go to a competition, there's still just that element of nerves, and I think like that's anyone. You're always going to be having nerves. The only reason people perform differently is because they deal with that stuff better than others. Like, but the majority of people that like at events either like come up with mad stuff that they've never done before, or they're just like they're at their training level almost, you know. So I think everyone that is there, it's literally just they're there for a reason. They've obviously done well to be there, and it's literally just how you cope with the nerve side of it, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, like, if you say you did like 6 sessions before you actually did that one thing where you caught everything every time, it was easy, like 6 times before you went and did it, I think the final one you'd have a lot less nerves.
On the day?
Yeah, because you know 100% you've caught this so many times.
Yeah, but it's like we've caught that loads, and then in Holland, like you've seen, like in Holland,
yeah,
that like
just didn't do any of the stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. We practiced all week this one routine for Holland, and then it didn't happen on the day. Like
yeah, like the double 360 and stuff, you only learned that a few weeks before you actually did the competition in Holland. So do you think like realistically before you do these big comps, like maybe 4 months out, all you should be doing is like perfecting these things?
Well, that's what I'd like to think we are doing. That's what I think I am doing.
But you added in the double 360 like 2 weeks, 3 weeks out.
What, from Holland?
No, like before we did Holland, like you only caught that double a few weeks before.
Yeah, but like sometimes with certain moves, you just feel comfortable with them, and you don't feel the thought process behind compared to others. Like probably a Gengar flip or something is something that like I can catch, say, but like I'm not always catching it, but I have caught it, so I'm not comfortable with it. But with double 360, once I caught it, it just felt like not easy, but you know, I just felt comfortable with it. So there's probably that element of feeling comfortable with certain moves, like 360 like shrimp flip, like I didn't catch it in Holland, and then I didn't go for it again in Holland. But in training, I catch it all the time, so I shouldn't be having a thing.
Honestly, even me, like before I went to Royal Labs last year, I was catching the swing 360, but I only caught it like a month before, and then when I went, I couldn't catch it, but I catched a shrimp and like everything else then. So like, what time frame do you think like you should have of a routine that you know you can catch, and you're just trying just that one thing before? Because realistically, like you only have 3 minutes, then 2 1.5s, and then 3. So surely you should have 6 routines perfect that you're training for like 6 months.
So I just think like, I think you need to have an element of like 70% of it is prepared, because like even when you see when we trained in the build up to it, and we did our like 3 minute, we done the competition basically.
Yeah.
Each time I did a different like thing, and that's just because once you get in that mind frame, like I don't even remember what I done like in Holland then.
Yeah.
Because it's just the adrenaline and everything else that comes with competition that you're literally just like, you're in a different, I don't know how to describe it properly, but you're in a different, like, it's almost like an out of body experience where you don't really feel like you know what you're doing, like you're not really, and you're tired, and you know everything, all the emotion that comes with it and stuff, and all that stuff that comes with it. So I think you need a little bit of, okay, like, yeah, you want to have, I'm much more like that like I'd rather think I'm going to do this and this is what I'm gearing towards on the day, but I think you need an element of what he's like, where it's like I can be flexible as well, because if on the day I don't catch the shrimp flip and then that's in my head, I need to like be able to adapt and just like, you know, be able to, so, like that's what happened at Holland. I did a whole routine in my head, missed the first thing, and then the whole thing was just improvised after that. So there's an aspect of like when we train Flynn 100% catches what he's built up towards, but he probably has a better mentality around competition than like someone like me, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
100%, yeah. Right.
So,
he is 2 for 2.
Yeah, and that's it. That's just everyone that competes. You need to get to know the mentality that they have, and not just stick to like, oh well, this is what we did with Jamie. He trained for 4 months out, so that's what you're going to do. We need to kind of like be adaptable with regards to like
100%.
the people we work with.
Just like looking at it from like different variables that affect how we actually do, like, so say like there's nerves, but then the preparation side of it is huge, like, and then like say the other things like where it is, things like that, the things you can actually control.
I think realistically, like, we are well prepared. Obviously, like, we could have got some other moves, and then 20% the last bit is just the mental bit, like we have our sessions, we catch that stuff in those sessions, and then it's just a case of coping with it on the day. Like, he's like Alex. We always use Alex as an example. Like, Alex is an example of that, because when we're in training, he can either catch like this mad routine, but then when it comes to going and performing that in front of people, you nearly don't see the same person. Like,
I just think that we don't actually do enough endurance. Anyone's like anyone doing calisthenics, like there's no like actual freestyle endurance at all. Like there's never been a session where we're all doing top level moves for an hour. Like,
well, who's I know. No, like, disrespect, but like, aside from me doing the 3-minute routines for practice or whatever, no one's ever jumped in on them with me, Aaron.
That's what I mean. Like, no one's at that level of like being able to do 3 minutes so many times, like at that level.
But like, again, like, no disrespect to him, but like, no one's really even done competitions, so why would we chuck them into suddenly that?
What do you mean for us, like, as Bar Monkey as a club, like, where we're all training for competitions, like?
But no one has done that level of competition yet. So like, we're training them towards the level that they're at.
Even Royal Bars, like if you look at the Royal Bars setup, like me, Cairns and Alex, none of us train endurance for our own that. We just train that one routine, and then once like, yeah, grand, I'll be alright on the day. Like, then you have 8 different routines to do, and nobody's ready for that. Like,
So there's 8 routines in a row.
Yeah, the same thing over and over again, because I didn't have enough endurance for me to do anything else, because none of us trained for endurance for it. Like, none of us actually did like a few months of endurance after learning the routine. Like, all we do is keep adding in new moves that we learn, and then when we get to competition, we're too tired to do any new moves we learn, so you go back. Like,
well, I would have thought, and look, that's just my own, like, my opinion on my training. Everyone, like, you're looking at it from your perspective, but like, I did think we did enough of those sessions, because, well, maybe we could have done 1 or 2 more, but my aspect or my thought behind it is those sessions destroy you. Like I was trying to say to you that I wanted more volume, like, as or like quantity, rather than like just doing that one session and then destroy it for the rest of the week. Because a lot of it is just neurological, that you need to be able to like catch the move without thought, and you want to get to that phase of doing the move without thinking about it.
Yeah.
But if we go in and do that session and it destroys us, and I can't train for the rest of the week, maybe you could do them a little bit further out when you have time to take like a week off, say. Because if I did it Monday, I couldn't train for the rest of the week. And as I know you're probably going to say, like, well, if you get used to it, you can.
Yeah, it's just like
quicker.
On the flip side of that, we don't do like everywhere. Like whenever, like, say gymnastics is getting periods there, like rugby or football, they always start off with like general prep. We don't do general prep or endurance at the start. So like, we find it so hard to do like replicate those big routines, because we haven't done any endurance in the first half of the year at all to build up to that. Like, So now sets to do this try. Like every other like sport, when they have like proper periodization at like professional level, all they're doing is their competition sets. Like 1 or 2 when they're finished for the day. So like try doing like 1 or 2 and then they go home. Whereas like we do one, you say you can't train for the rest of the week. So like is that because the endurance isn't there, or what do you think like?
Yeah, look, but ours don't feel like we're not at the level that gymnastics or like any of them are at.
Yeah.
So like obviously we want to train to that level, but like we see so much new stuff all the time, and like if we consolidate it at like this level, and then someone comes in and 720's a new move, like, and then this isn't impressive anymore. But we've consolidated it here because we've just focused, and like obviously you're right, like the endurance side is important, and seeing like Thomas at Hong Kong and like Lazans is the best example of that, because his last round is as impressive as his first. Whereas like when you've done your analysis on me, like my last one is nowhere near the same level as my first. So you're right, like there should be probably more work on endurance. And then also I just kind of think it gets in people's heads that like I also want to learn new tricks. It just depends on where you want to take it. You're right, like if someone wants to go and do World Cups, like yes, I should probably work on more endurance. But if I'm just someone that wants to do it socially and comes in now and again, like him, 100%. Like he doesn't need to work on it. So it just depends. Like you are right, like it just probably just depends on the level that you want to get to with it.
Yeah.
I like that idea though, what you're saying with the endurance.
I'm just thinking like for like
he's not just pretty face, like
it's just like when you were saying that other sports do, like makes sense.
When countries go to the Olympics, the whole point of sending people to the Olympics is so when they come back they have medals, and then like people think, oh look at him winning a medal in say rowing. Like last year, like rowing's got up like 50% participation because the 2 lads won their gold. Like so things like that like build the sport up. Like if Jamie went to the World Cup, I'm sure a few people seeing that and like, oh Jesus, might join in like.
But it was funny, like when we got back, obviously after people got over the shock on my face, like the kids and stuff were just like, oh, how did you get on? And like even like Ava, like who was shocked, like one of the teenagers, she was like, how did you get on? Did you win? And like I was like, no, I was expecting stick because she's a teenager, and she was just like, oh well, you're still number 1 to us. And I was like, what? Ava being nice, but like. So like you can see it, like like you said, like lads come back from rowing, but the lads had a serious personality when they got on telly, and it helped. But it'd be the same, like if we can try and replicate us going to the World Cup and use it in the same way to increase the participation in our sport.
That's the only reason money is given to sport at the Olympic level. Like if each sport like get like 27 million, and all that's for is to get a few medals, and then for it to come home and has that kind of legacy effect where like boxing is so big now because of so many medals have gone into it. So people like want that kind of same fame as Katie because of her gold medal straight away. Yeah. So gets a lot of people into the sport, like it's one thing of it. So I think you need like participation, and you also need that lead side to
increase the
for someone like because only like 1% of the participation group are gonna want to move on to like that competition, but still needs to be there. Like.
There also only is gonna be 1% capable of it. Yeah. So like if going back to what you said, like the endurance side of stuff, like my thing in my head when you were saying to me building up to it was like, like you've just mentioned that you wanted me to perfect a routine for it. If I do that session and then I can't train for 3 or 4 days, I'm like, to me I needed like quality over quantity, like. Yeah. So I was like, no, I want to like train at like 70-80% in the weeks up to it so that I can get more volume in rather than, but I still take that point, like you could do it earlier on in the year. The problem probably is that we don't know if we're getting in somewhere, so it would be hard to be like you know, we found out in August we're going to the World Cup, and then you're trying to train for that, and it's in November. Like so probably with the likes of gymnastics or with rugby, they know when their season is. Yeah. We don't really know when our season is because we don't know what competitions we're going to get in, what competitions we're not going to get in. There's kind of an off period now, I feel like December, January, but we've already said that we want to go back and try and like upskill nearly, go back and learn some more dynamic moves, because that's probably something we touched with the comp is that like looking back on it, like the biggest thing I think I took from Hong Kong was that when they released like the points and who placed where and stuff. Like, I was 10 points off Kurganov, who won, like, and I was like, that was without basically any dynamics. Like, you know, like, literally was only double 360, slipped on my 540. So, like, we're not as far off, I don't think, as we probably think. Do you know, I still think sometimes me and Fitz, like, haven't given ourselves credit, or we don't think we're as close to those athletes as we probably are, do you know that way? And I think we were, like, I think if we were to go again, or get the opportunity to go again, which we will get the chance to go again, I think we'd approach it differently. Because I think after we got through, we were just like, sure, look, just going there is the kind of, that's the experience, and we just go to say it's brilliant to say we've done it. But I don't think we ever went in with the idea of we might, like, win or, like, do well, and I'm still not saying we would, but I think
on the day that kind of changed a bit.
It did, exactly. That's what I mean. I think that's what happened us two on the day when we watched it, and we were like we're not far off. Like, I was 10 points off with no dynamics basically.
Yeah.
And like statics, so my statics were good, but like that, and that's so that's what we said after. We were like, okay, well, we need to work on dynamics, we need to upskill on that side of things and get real comfortable with some of the bigger moves, like, and then so like I think the next 2 months that's kind of what our focus is going to be, and then that's maybe when we start looking at endurance around February kind of time or something.
I think like we need to like retrain how we think about training, like, because we used to just do like we're going to do things to do calisthenics, like, that's what it was for so long, whereas now like you're an elite performance, like, so like it's a different thing now, like.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, because I think when we all started, like, we were just in it because it looked cool and it was cracking, yeah, and then like now we've been lucky in the last kind of 2-3 years that all three of us, like, even Hemp, like, we've like done competitions, and like it's mad because like I know just like you came to one of the first ever classes, like it was just me in the park, like just on monkey bars, you know what I mean, and then you end up getting to Hong Kong and like to start doing comps, and you make friends with international people because you all like the same sport, and like, you know, I think that's really cool, like, but yeah, we probably, you know, even the people that we're training with and stuff, you know, like, need to like look at, yeah, like you say, probably need to realise that we're looking at elite level now. It's not
just participation.
Yeah, it's not just the lads,
especially with like say Flynn coming through, say like Flynn and Big Luke, like they're gonna need like a very structured training. If like say when they're like 18, 19, we want them like to go and win these big things, like there needs to be like a big structure there for a year, and how they're gonna train for the year, like, rather than like, yeah, they're trying really hard now, like, and they're trying new things that like statics and stuff that they don't have yet, that we're trying to focus on training. Like, say if the lads had 30-40 pull-ups in them in one set, like a lot of their static training is going to be a lot more beneficial from that, like, and like even though like muscle ups on the bar, if they can do 30-40 pull-ups and then their muscle ups don't tire them out, and then the next move after that isn't effective, and everything just like pushes on from there, like, even for us, like,
yeah,
Alex like fails the muscle up every time.
like Flynn's just like this year, in the last 6 months, just puberty's just definitely hit him, like, and he's just after like not that he wasn't impressive, say, around, like, remember like May was when we had our little end of the year expo, would have been May or June, and like he done well at it, but like since the summer, just like he just overtook everyone, like he overtook us, like
yeah, well, Flynn's competing against you now.
Flynn didn't even like win, and not that like all our kids are at grade level, but he didn't even win like the kids over 10 competition in the summer, and now like within the space of 6 months, like he's gonna smash me, like, you know what I mean? And
he's way past me at this point. Like,
he's ahead of, like, Kai will tell you, like, when he first started, that like he was like, I was like, Flynn's gonna take over the lads, like the adults and all, and like Alex and stuff, and he was like, no way, Alex will have Flynn. And then he saw Flynn properly one time, like the first time when he only started, and Flynn warmed up to the shrimp 540, and he was like, yes, he has Alex. So we're just like, and that's that's kind of him and Luke coming through. Like they're gonna be the next ones. Like next couple of years. So.
Yes, in class.
Yeah. So in terms of Ireland, what do you think we need to do next to make attending these events more regular?
Well, like obviously the funding aspect of it, like Jay can't be funding all these events. Like he needs to kind of look at ways and how sponsorship will be a thing for the sport in Ireland. Like the lads, fair play to them, like Raf, Freya, what's Freya's name?
So like so Underdog Barbershop, George Downer Landscapes, One Body Therapy, and Calisthenics Equipment NI all sponsored us this year to go. And then we ran a couple of seminars. We ran one in Irish Calisthenics Academy, and Geraghty we're running one in the new year there. And they kind of all obviously, you know, plus the good old credit union, like, but like that's where the sport is. I think like people have talked to us about sponsorship before and trying to get sponsorship into the sport, but I've just kind of said to people that like I don't want to waste my time putting together proposals, reports, looking for sponsorship when the response to the sport still is, what is it? So like if it's not really in the general eye yet, I don't want to waste my time trying to get sponsorship for something that's not known. So that's kind of probably like something we're going to look into a lot more next year, that we get more mainstream recognition and just attention towards it, mainstream wise. But I think like the kids that we have coming through, say like Flynn, as we keep talking about, like I don't see why he wouldn't get to these events, and like next year I kind of hope he'll start doing some international stuff. And it's creating the pathway that we have with the kids, that like there's a constant stream of kids coming through that eventually get the opportunity to go to these stages. But I don't think that would have happened if we didn't do this year, because now they have something to like look at and like, okay, well if he done it, we're going to do it as well. So I think that's obviously helped, but we also got, biggest thing we're going to get from the end of this year is the recognition from World Street Workout Calisthenics Federation. So that's huge, like, delighted with that. Well, lads! So like on class, like I'm real happy with that. So what that means is we get recognition of them to organise national competitions here.
Nice.
And winners of them get the chance to go and do the competitions that we've done. So it will never be as hard. Like, this would be the hardest year for anyone in Ireland to have had to qualify. Like, going abroad and competing against guys in Europe that can come in from anywhere. Now they're only having to go against people in their own country. Yeah. And like, that makes it a much easier task for Flynn to get in.
Speaking genuine.
Yeah. But like I said that to the other day, like, alright, yeah, I want to go back, but as a coach and as someone who's like worked with him for the past 4 years, the day he gets past me, like, you'd be happier than he will. Like, and I know you're ready to say it, but genuinely would be like to see him, like, because you remember him like when he came in first, like, to where he is now, do you know what I mean? So like, you remember him as a kid, and now he's nearly, like, he's basically a full grown man when he's finishing on the bar.
So this from into the Love Flame show, like.
That's basically what Bar Monkey is, sure.
For you.
He gets mentioned a lot, actually.
Sure, how could he not? He's going to take over the game.
So obviously Flynn is going to be brilliant if he keeps going the way he's going. The two coaches have to take a lot of credit. But what do you think we need to do now to bring Ireland to a really high competitive level on the whole world stage?
I think kids wise right there, like. It's like, yeah, if we have lads like with the like under 10, like the competition class does not make them over 10, like all just in their 10s, like. So the 8, Jamie started. Why did you do the first competition? Yeah,
21. When I did my first competition,
like proper
26.
Yeah, 26. Like. So like
one though.
The lads have another 8 years for 18 to even start doing competitions. Like,
I think the biggest, well, not the biggest, sorry, but like when we went to Hong Kong and we started talking to all the lads that are there, and like none of, like, you're going to the world stage and none of them run kids classes.
Yeah.
So it's not like, and any other competition we've gone to, no one's running it. So like, I think, like, you're right. I think we'll have that's the whole point, that we'll have a huge advantage in the next couple of years, and we'll just have a flood of kids coming through. I also think like Arron's setting up like the judging system this year, and hopefully that gets implemented next year, and then that gives like the competition structure, and then we're setting up the development pathways, we're setting up the coaching courses, so it means that there's going to be more clubs running kids programs. So it's not just Bar Monkey or whoever else that has a kids class going. The more kids classes going, the more opportunity for development, because it's not like we're not just in a gifted area of Dublin. Do you know what I mean? It can be replicated anywhere, and kids can come out with Galway, they can come out with Belfast, wherever, as long as people are willing to like implement the kids classes. So like, and the fact that people are willing to jump on board with that, you know, like next year, like in February, we'll run our coaching course, and we have 7 people, like different clubs signing up to that, and they are all going to be new clubs next year running kids classes. So that's something that's going to be really big next year, and then at least we have like a long term plan. It's not like taking someone like me, taking someone in at 25, or you know, and then like we're gonna get you into comps, mate, or you know, like so. I think the fact that we treat it as a sport, not as a form of fitness, is probably the biggest kind of thing, because that's why we work with the kids, because it's a sport, it's not fitness. Like
developing like the same structures that like where sports have for actual sports, and not just what Jamie said, like just a form of fitness. It's like having like that judging system, having like periodization plan for like the teenagers and stuff, like Jamie and stuff, and then like having those pathways like makes such a big difference when you're actually trying to get a sport going on.
I think as well that's what keeps the kids so interested as well. Like it's sport, it's fun, you know. It's not like a boot camp thing where they're being trained for fitness. Like we're just having complete fun. Like even back when I used to play football, like it's just good crack, like, you know. You know, that's why I used to love playing football. It wasn't like you're being pushed into something like to be fit, just having fun.
I think that's the biggest thing we try to implement in the coaching courses as well. That like the idea of you want them to enjoy it, that has to be the biggest thing that they take out of it. And like everyone, if you go into other sports, they always have like, this is our long term plan and this is our 10-year like development pathway, and you're just like, if you can't keep the kid after 2 weeks because they're not enjoying it, forget about 10 years. Like you have to hook them from the start. But the thing that hooks them is the enjoyment level. It's not like they don't care necessarily what the sport is. It's just like the only thing they care about is if they have fun. They don't even necessarily care about the skills or until later on down the line. Like, but main thing for any coach when they're starting is that they don't go into that serious role and think, oh, I've got a group of 7-year-olds, they're all going to play for Man United if I'm a good coach. No, they're not, mate. They're not. Like the majority of our kids, like we've a competition group, but like the majority of our kids are in the other classes. There's only like 12 kids, I think, in like our competition group. So you've got the 80% of your like club in the recreation. Do you know what I mean? And that's because they enjoy it.
Exactly.
And that's fine. Everyone will have a different reason for why they get into our sport. So you accommodate for all of those reasons. And that's what helps it grow. If you only want the elite, you're not going to go very far. Like, it's a very small percentage of people.
Definitely. I just want to take back to the super final for a minute and ask Arron, just you being a sports analyst, so you watched the whole event, who and what kind of stood out for you when you were watching it?
Mainly like the endurance, like because when I did like Jamie's like final analysis, you see in like in all three, I did like 3 different kind of analysis before he went, like, and every time the first half of the performance, like, I was like up here, and as soon as the endurance hit, the level just like started dropping down in both like statics and dynamics. And the lads who did really well on the day in the World Cup, there was no like drop off. It was just the exact same moves, exact same level all the way through. I think that's like the biggest difference there on the day. So like the dynamics, the young lads just started scared. They started scared to show them, like, whereas like we be a lot, well, me anyway, like from injuries, just like you're very cautious going for things, like, but they just don't care. Like lads doing like super 540s on the World Cup final, like no mats underneath them, like they just, there's not no fear in them either. It's a big thing, like.
Yeah, well, I suppose then it kind of brings it back to your endurance thing. They've been drilling it so much that they're just confident they're going to catch it anyway.
You know, these lads are training like we have like 20 mats around us. They're just training like a beach.
Yeah.
Or like on the floor. There's no fear in them at all. It's a really good thing to have. But like the longevity of it, like I wonder how long they could do that before they get an injury. Like
Look, when you talk to a lot of them, like we built up to the World Cup with one comp in August and one in March. But they compete nearly every month. Like Rosenberg was in a comp in 4 days. He was in a month yesterday. Kurganov's the same. Kurganov competed at the World Cup. 2 weeks later, he's in Dubai with Battle of the Bars. I haven't trained since the World Cup.
Yeah.
I've gone in bits.
I think that is just that there's so much endurance in it. Like.
And I think remember we mentioned like Kofi in England, and like Kofi does a comp nearly every month or two.
Yeah.
And it's just. And that I think that's how you build. Like it's like when you talk about football and it's like match fitness and stuff. I think that's how they build up their endurance. They do more comps. It's just kind of like because you've just got you have to do that level of endurance all the time because you're doing them.
Yeah, is that feasible though? Like
not for me. I'm nearly like I'm old, but I was 18. Like
yeah, I just mean like financially feasible. Do you think they should do it at home? Like you definitely implement that in your training at home.
Yeah, but they probably love the idea of doing competitions.
100%. Yeah, like
I know what you mean. Like
I'm just saying, like us, I go competition every month. Not working for like a week every month, like just die.
And then you have to kind of balance out. Like the financial aspect of it is obviously a big reason, but for them, like if some of them are sponsored probably and stuff, and that's their gig that they just go to a different comp every month and they're paid by whoever to go and do them. Like, that obviously makes a big difference if your only focus is competing. My focus will never be just competing.
I just love to see like one athlete that trains like a professional athlete, like get up in the morning, train, sleep, get up, train again, or actually that's all they do. I'd love to see someone like that just for 5 years and then do a comp and just see what they're like. Be absolutely disgusting at a level and like.
So toxic.
Yeah. Like a lot of them probably it's the fake it till you make it thing that like somehow they're going on to compete every month. I don't know where the funding comes from, but they probably are like there's a reason why they're catching everything they're doing or whatever, and then I'd relate it kind of to football where they talk about like match fitness and stuff. Like we've done 3 this year. Like some of the lads are doing, as I said, 1 every month. I know you say like financially probably, but that's probably how their endurance. But there's now probably like that's why their endurance is so good.
Yeah. Also, like the football lads, like there's serious training regime as well. Like.
Yeah, but like I just know it. Training, I could train all week, but there's nothing like doing a competition.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose every week it's not the same competition. It's not like.
But that's the match. There's a big difference like going and competing in front of people all the time, doing a competition. You can't feel the adrenaline that you feel in a competition in training ever. So the more you get used to that, that's how you just build up. I think that's how you build up that endurance. You can obviously do your stuff in training, but nothing compares to doing competition.
Yeah,
you can replicate the scenario, make them do the 3 minutes, but it's not the same. Like your mentality and all, and going into it and dealing with all that stuff. It's just.
Do you think that like you could train for that?
No, because you're not competing against someone when you're down in training. Like.
No, what I mean is train that mindset early, like that. Every time you go and do something, it's the exact same 3 minutes you just did in your setting that you did somewhere else. There's so many different factors. Like, could you train that?
You'll never have the same emotional level training as you will doing a match or like doing a calisthenics competition. Like that's why you need to do them.
Yeah.
Like even if you're doing them just to, like that's what we've said to Flynn next year, that we want them to do them just to get the experience of doing them, not to go in and win, just to get the experience. And then within the next 3, 4, 5 years with him, then you change his mindset to be like, right, you're not trying just to compete anymore, you're moving into like, we want to start looking at winning them now. But the first couple of years you should be just getting experience of competing. I just like you both have that experience of doing competitions, and the difference between doing a competition and going in and training, it's
different.
Yeah, you can't I don't think you can replicate it. I think it's just true.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can replicate it. I think that you could train like emotional strength as well as your actual physical trainer to when you get into those situations, not get that big adrenaline rush, and that like completely messes up your head. You forget what you're supposed to do, and then you get up in the bar and you know what you're doing. Like, I think that can definitely be trained somehow. Like,
but it's like I know it can come back to football, but like guys will step up in a cup final and like they might be doing nothing in training, and then on the day of a match just like step up because it's completely different.
Yeah,
how they approach it and stuff.
Yeah.
You're right. Like you can definitely by doing more endurance type training sessions, you can get what it feels like trying to do stuff while you're wrecked.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't equate to doing the competition like.
Yeah. I think it's a very individual thing. It'll be interesting to see if there's a way to make it less individual and make it a structured way of training to stop people having that like take that risk out of it altogether. Like, okay, you train so hard all year, qualify for this, and you go, and then like how nervous you are completely affects the outcome. Like.
Yeah, I think it affects everyone that.
100%. I just think some people are really like confident in themselves. I know you're confident in yourself, but some people have that level of confidence where it's not like Arron, Mr. Good looking. Like, for him, it's not a competition; it's a show.
Like Jay's like that, and Starboy's like that. That like Starboy will like throw stuff in a comp that he hasn't trained for, or just because he, like you see in the last one in England in Norwich. And Starboy's last routine was just a bit set a lot because he was just gassed up about trying to win. Like,
I think that's a mental state. Like, he's working on that. Like, there's no way he was like that his whole life, you know. Or even if he was, things will happen to make him that mentally strong. And
that's it. Like some of his personality, like Jay and Starboy are very. That's their personality. Like,
yeah.
And then, like you say, I don't know if you can train that because you just. That's what we said. Like we need to like when we're working with you figure out what their mentality is. Like we talked about Luke, the first one, and we're like Luke would be probably more like me, that like very detailed and wants to plan exactly what he's gonna do, and we'll just work on that routine. But remember when he got the draw and the last comp he had, and he was just like, I don't know, I only trained 2 routines. And that's just him, that's fine, you know, if we know that, that's what we work with, and then we keep planning stuff around that with him. But then you can have someone like Jay and Starboy or like Hemp or Laura, like who will just on the day, no, I haven't been planning, and then still do really well though. Yeah. So
sometimes.
Well, I say really well. Jay Hemp,
I meant more
Laura. Past first round, like.
I meant more Laura than Jay Hemp, like.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to ask as well. So you're a coach, you're an athlete, but then there's 2 or 3 events you organise every year for Bar Monkey as well. And then in terms of like the organisation of that competition tournament you've seen over there, is there anything from that you could take and bring it back and implement it here?
I think me and him were talking about realising like it's not as big as we pictured in our head. Like the night before, it was just 3 lads setting the bar up, and it was like this is just like our events, like do you know? But in a good way though, like that we realised like for us, like we're not doing too badly. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like, well, our events are organised like this. Like we're not miles away from what is considered the top event, and I think that was something for us to be looking at and being like giving ourselves a bit of credit in terms of like even the crowds that we get. Like we get deliberate crowds, whereas they just held it in a shopping centre, and a lot of people were just bypassers and happened to just be watching it. It eased my nerves the night before, getting to talk to the organisers and then seeing that it's just us 3 but in a different country, and you know what I mean, it's just 3 mates just setting something up. And I think that was great, but like in terms of maybe marketing side of things, that's something I want to look at for next year and work on that a lot more. But in terms of that kind of thing, I don't know, Arron might have a different thing on that. Like,
I thought that for the athletes, it was done very well for them. Like, so like I picked up from the bus, dropped off at the place, brought in, told what the structure was going to happen. Like there was no like other events you've gone to. It was just a bit for like the athletes like what's going on. Whereas in that it was very clear. Each round, how long it was all sent out in advance. Then when you're finished, That's bus leaving at 5, drop his back. And the bus was like very nice for the athletes, like giving out the flags and all. I got everything in for a picture. It was like everyone was just involved, like it was nice.
But I think he's a better person to ask just because I was competing, so I'm only really thinking of that. I'm not really looking at like the overall picture of it. Probably not until after. But yeah, I think Arron probably had a better perspective of it because he was just watching and probably, you're probably taking it more in, maybe more than.
Well, the only other thing like is it's quite a long day.
Yeah.
But it wasn't actually that long. Like I remember we first said, 27 people in 3 minutes, and then it actually wasn't that bad at all. Like, because you did your routine, you could sit down for a while, get a break, have something to eat, then get back up for your next one. It wasn't as like in Royal Bars, you're there for maybe 5 minutes having a rest, and you're back up. Like if you get through to the final, they still give that 15-20 minute break in between each round. So even if you did go through, it wasn't like, oh, let's go straight back up again. It was like, you have 20 minutes, relax, and then go back up. Like,
I think that's brilliant because like the guys that are in the last round, you want to see them putting on a show, you don't want them like completely knackered that they can't. Whereas we've seen other competitions where that has happened. When you're doing your last routine, sure, you've nothing left. Like to even if you did do the endurance, you'd probably have a lot more with that one, if you get me.
Yeah.
But like I remember even you over in Eindhoven, and the first one I think it was, but you said you were wrecked in your final performance, like the one that you won. But you like it's. To make it something big, it's going to have to be something like that where you get the time to recover, because especially in the final, you want to see the big performance come out. That kind of way.
Yeah, that makes sense because you don't want I know they say some people. We talked about that last time. That some people like to see the endurance side and pushing them to their limit, but if we're trying to turn it into a performance sport where people want to come and watch it, I think they want to see. It's the big moves, even our sport, our kids watch some of it and they're like, oh, it's just a lot of statics, wasn't it? Because they get bored of that. So people that are just coming in to watch, they want to see the dynamic stuff and they want to see the tricks. But if you have to hop back up 2 minutes later, that's not. It's tough.
In other spectator sports, say Red Bull cliff diving, they do a dive and they're off for an hour before they do the next one. Even powerlifting and stuff in the Olympics. Yeah. They do a lift, but they're off for an hour then before they do the next one. It's not like us where you do your full competition phase in an hour. You're doing 8 routines in an hour. To give that break, it's needed. But in all fairness, because of where the sport's at, if there's a competition in Royal Bars, they don't have 3 days to get 40 athletes doing so many routines. So
sure, I heard Royal Bars is probably a little bit off the subject, but I heard the Royal Bars comp was shut down early this year because the unit they were renting they all had to be out of it by 5 o'clock. Jeez. So they cut, instead of cutting what was it? People don't tell me this today that instead of cutting 6 athletes or something, they had to cut 12 or 18 of them or something. In the first round they had to, just because they were running short on time. So then so it's just stuff and everyone that's involved in it, not just us, every organisation setting this stuff up, it's all new to all of us. We've only run competitions for 4 years. Everyone else that's running stuff, it's the same. That's a really short amount of time to be running a sport. Yeah. So in 10 years' time, you can guarantee the way everything runs will be completely different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The big thing that the biggest take from it, and all the competitions have been at so far, just watching as well, is the actual bar setup. People don't have the resources to get the perfect setup. But in maybe a few years, people will getting their park built, the funds come in for stuff like that. So having a setup with nearly every variable possible that every athlete's gonna want. Yeah, it seems hard, but it's not you get maybe 5 or 6 different coded bars all wide, and a few bars if people want to do transfers. Dip set a little bit of different width, and it suits everyone. Fit for purpose needs to be there. Just seeing no fault to the lads, the organisation was unreal. Just one person wanted to use a transfer, and it caused such a awkward thing for everyone else, for the athletes, whereas that stuff can be if the money's there, all that stuff can be avoided.
That was a big thing at it. There was kind of big arguments before it because they were the bars are so shaky, and we were just it was mad. They were saying it was shaky, and then one guy wanted to keep the other bar on, other guys wanted it off because they were saying when they swing they're going to kick it. They can't do giants because they're going to kick it. and so they took it off to see who would shake, and you're just like, that's not a problem that should arise at a World Cup. Like, as you said, every comp should have equipment that's fit for purpose, and like every variation, that probably is something that, you know, themselves would probably like look at and be like, okay,
Well, like
we need to change the bar didn't suit me, but that was just me because of the grip that we're used to. So the paint that's on our bar, we just have galvanized steel that's powder coated, and it's such a small thing to someone just listening or like watching or whatever, but our head, that's a really big thing, because the difference in the feel of it.
But it's also like it's no organiser's fault ever that's there. It's just because where the sport is. Like, no one paid for that event. Like, no one gave them money to come to that event to get bars to suit them. Like, so like nobody, like no athletes could complain about it. Like,
They're still complaining, but
they're still complaining, but it's not just a funny thing to complain about. So like, when the money's there, like when people are paying money to come and watch you and paying for all these things, that money can be put into bar setup like that. Like, the lads even said it. You're like, these are bars we've had for the last 2 years. We don't have the money to get new bars, like, which is 100% fair enough. Like, if just people are paying in tickets to come and watch it, you can expect more that way. But I think in the next few years that will happen, and like that level of like equipment and stuff can go up, which is class for the lads. Like,
so they've wanted us to put a park into Timon Park in Tally, and they basically always want the competition structure set up, like, so like that's gone in and it looks class, and then they're asking will it be suitable for competition. So that's why they've kind of brought me in to like make sure the design of it will suit, and like, you hope then like that will be a competition set up. Obviously you can't depend on it because it's Ireland and the rain, but at least if it's bars that people, if it's a nice day, we can go train on, and in the long term when we go to those events, well, we've been training on that rig, it's the same as this one, or it's the same width, or it doesn't have the same amount of mats that we're used to, there's less crash mats, it's a similar kind of setup. That'll help loads, like, because we went to London last year for one, and this will be the same setup, and I'm just thinking like, Jesus, if that setup was in Tally 2 years ago and then we went to London and it's like, oh, it's the same, we wouldn't have had any thoughts or like any qualms about trying it, because it's the exact same. So I think that park going into Tally will help loads with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully.
I'd say so, yeah, the park's going to be class. It was sent by the picture you sent.
yeah, the picture is serious. Like.
Yeah, it's class, that is.
I think I actually, like, once it goes in, they're saying it probably won't go in until this summer, like, good to go, but I think it'd be the best park in Europe, like, because he's also putting the comp set up and then also like a general kind of area for like pull-ups and whatever else, like sets and rep stuff. But I only like the comp rig. I was like, oh, that's class. So it's like a square and then it has bars coming out of the corners of each of the square, if that makes sense. So you're talking, Matt, I can't even do one. Yeah, there you go, thanks mate. 8
Shit, I can't do 4 plus 4.
So hard, like.
Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to ask just one more thing about the tournament, so I'm quite interested. So you said you were only 10 points off the top, so you weren't really far out at all. Like, if there's anything, looking back at it now, was there anything you would have done differently in preparation, or in, you know what I mean, what would you have done differently looking back now?
I think if I got the chance to go again, which hopefully I will.
No, he's back!
If I go again, like, my attitude would be very different. Because I think when we went, or when we qualified, we were just like, oh, we're going to Hong Kong, like, on the lads, like, and we were just kind of like we just thought, like, oh, like, we'll go, but we're not really going to touch, like, or be close to, like, the boys into the, like, you know, the further rounds or final or whatever. We just be there, represent ourselves well. That was the aim, just, you know, just make sure I don't look out of place, and that was kind of as good as our idea around it was, I suppose. So I think if I was going again, that my attitude, not that I'm going and thinking I'm winning, but I think I'd be much more competitive mindset, and not like, as I said, just being there is great. So I think that would be the biggest thing I'd change going again. Like, I don't know if Arron is.
Just as a coach, like, there's moves that win competitions. Like, so like having like triple 360, 540, like they're just moves that like everyone's doing at that level. Like, we're not training for most of them, like, we're just like trying to stay at like the level we're at now and trying to do like 1 or 2 moves above, which just makes sense. Like, but I think if you're looking at like a year out for next year, like having targets, like set targets and moves you need to catch that people are doing. Like looking at Thomas when he won, like moves is 360. Like big ones that you don't have it, like it's like the alley joint into different moves, and like last like Super 440 and stuff. They're moves that like you can set a target for, and you can start getting them like maybe 6 months in, and then trying them to routines for 6 months. So I think that kind of stuff's important to actually have goals every month and targets rather than just see how I feel this week, see how I feel next week, and then that's what it is for the agent, right? Yeah, that's for everyone, like for all of us.
No, because he did. Like you said, we did kind of like try and look at, obviously, you're looking at everyone else and seeing what they have and what, you're making comparisons the whole time, and like that was what we were told in fairness in Holland, like that, like you just need to work on your dynamics, and it was probably like it just kind of obviously showed, that way. It was like, right, I need looking at Thomas exactly as an example, like what's the difference? Statics, there wasn't much difference. It was okay, he has like the cleanest planche of all time. But like, no, I'm just saying, like in terms of like statics, there's not a huge gulf. But it's when it comes to dynamics, the stuff that they catch, like we would catch it, but it's like now and again, or it wouldn't be competition level like that. They just do it without kind of thinking. So that's the next stage we need to kind of get to, where all this stuff we do, and it's as consistent, I suppose, as them. Also, I think the statics, like the lads who got really well, all their statics had like a little wow factor added to them. Like, it's like the lad who came second, he wasn't just doing like a full air straddle, he was doing like a full joint coming in with straight arms into it. Yeah, but the two lads who came second and third annoyed me because they were gymnastics, and that was the only problem I had with it. I was like, half the stuff I saw them doing, like they were claiming they were doing calisthenics a year, and then someone else found out like, no, they were doing gymnastics for 10 years. Like, so they're like, and like that's their background, fair play to them, but like we're not gonna catch them. Like, but it was just like half the moves I saw them doing, I wouldn't have classed as calisthenics. Like, yeah, but they're doing like double joints into full planche and all that. Yeah, just double joints. Like, fine. You're doing these mad crossover things. That's gymnastics. Yeah, you've never seen it because you've never watched gymnastics. Yeah, sick. That's what it's gymnastics. Yeah, it's just smashes, isn't it? Anyway, what I meant was like, even Thomas, like he was doing full planche, yeah, but then he'd do a full planche press on the straight bar, back down into it. Like, Jesus Christ, how to do that? It's like everyone like did really well. They always had that little extra little bit into their statics, like, whereas it wasn't just like a normal full planche. It was like a full planche, but then like did like a weird twist on it, like he had a little swag on everything, all that stuff. Everything into it was just a little bit more like, oh, that's really good, and then like adds one thing onto it, like, oh Jesus Christ, how did you do that after holding that for like 5 seconds? We need to get that toupee on, like. No, it's just, what was your man wearing? The little ballerina set. Oh, you didn't know about this. He was actually, we never even talked about that. He was doing his like dynamics set, and like he pretended like he ripped his hand, like he jumped down, he had like a red marker. It's like colouring red marker on his hand, and got up, was like, mid set. Yeah, showing his thing, and then the music changed to like real slow, like a song. And then he whips all his clothes off, and he's in like little tutu. And he does like a pike press, like into like one arm handstand and all, like real like delicate nose, like, yeah. And then when that bit finished, he did a little bow, and then the hard music kicked back in, and he finished off. I think he came last. Like, the lads had none of it. Like, I was like, what do you do? Like, but someone else said they were like, I think he knew he wasn't gonna place anywhere, so he just thought he'd have a bit of crack and put on a performance with it. Like, they're showing us videos on the bus. And their man was just upside down as a little leotard, just dancing his legs. They were all in knots, because all this, like, everyone who stayed in that little, like, 8-man dorm, they all knew what was going to happen, whereas none of us stayed, like. So they were showing us videos in knots, like, it's not that funny, like. That happened, like, oh, yeah, that was lame.
So I wanted to ask you one last question. It's quick. As well, I don't know if it's like it, but just out of 10, what would you rate Jamie's performance over there? Ooh. Don't forget you work for me, yeah? Wait, do you want to write, I was going to ask you the same question. Do you want to write them down? What? Rate Fitz's performance out of 10 over there? No, they're yours. We just discussed it. You just can't start fighting. Yeah, no, that's what people want to see. Like. What are you, Jamie? 23rd or 27th? Thanks, mate. What were you scoring? Yeah. But it was tied, mate. There was a lot of ties, so. Where were you? Yeah. So we're not going to sick by Johnny's. Right, yeah, say it same time, mate. It was pads.
you want to get the notepad up there?
Wait, what's this compared to, though? Is it compared to everyone competing there, compared to Jamie's recent performances?
Jamie's performance.
Who are you comparing him against?
Himself.
Hey, but not being very descriptive here.
What?
Not being very descriptive here.
Just out of 10.
Do you want the man to get sacked, like?
Yeah.
Fitz is terrified there. Fitz, don't forget, like, why did you go through on Tuesday, yeah?
Can I show the camera and not show Jamie?
15 out
Pop
of
it up to me as well.
Yeah, but I'm not showing Jamie.
He's
though.
going to see it eventually.
Yeah, but it'll be funny when he sees it eventually.
10. That 1 out of 10, like.
Well,
It's a sport analyst. Love the secrecy. Why can't I get that?
Oh. I don't have good writing, mate. Just because you're blind because you're nearly 30 now, like.
I was going to say.
No, I'm not!
Using it, yeah.
Shut up! Yeah! Why, God, why?
can we main shot there? Main shot, like?
Yeah.
I'll show you one
That's
first.
it.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Jesus Christ.
Give me a look, eh?
No. You show the camera?
Sorry about the now.
No, he's not looking. Sit
Of
down.
course I'm looking. Get over there.
Quick, show the way. Show it back.
No, don't.
You probably got like heartbroken there, didn't
I
you?
thought you were giving me a good 2 out of 10, like.
How do you think you go like 6-ish, like?
Yeah. We don't know what was missing, so. We don't know what was good, what was missing.
Yeah, we always have to have self-assessment as well, like, so always good to know.
To get me and Fitz to have a scrap, like.
Yeah, well, I was trying my best, like.
Where's the mud if you want it, like?
I have oil in the bag.
Get the elbow pads out all the way. Come on. If you had some DX music playing out of nowhere, go to the street.
For him,
next
what would,
year.
what would you
Not
rate?
again.
What would you rate Jay Garrett's performance from the outside?
Did you even see it?
Yeah, I did say it, yeah.
Did you?
From the outside? Do I get a pad?
Yeah, get yourself a pad, mate.
He doesn't pay you, so you're alright, whatever you say.
Oh, actually, anyone that's on just listening to this, Arron wrote for my performance, Jamie pays me.
So, David doesn't pay me. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It's classic Jay Garrow, like, just consistent all the time. Like, of course you missed the fight. That can happen to anyone, like anyone on the day. And it's new bars, new setup. You know, it's gonna happen. But
Yeah, but you're really pushing us out. Just give it a hand sign.
yeah, so just bringing it back to the day. Like, I think it did really well. So
Nah, it was just. Sorry, go on.
It's hard to put a number on it, like. You know?
Oh yeah, it was alright for you to ask, wasn't it?
Well, that's the questions, like.
I ask the questions around here, I don't provide the answers.
Yeah, no, as well, I always think that Jamie can. I've never said this, but I always think you can do a lot better than you're doing. As well, you do play it safe, but you can do a lot better than what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Where'd you marry him?
What?
Where'd you marry him, like?
No, seriously.
You got bad. You got
No,
even
no.
right?
So, like,
First of all,
when you say about
Me and Hemp's wedding.
best man.
honestly, you can.
Just kiss him, everybody. Like,
No, seriously though, like
just love you, Jamie.
you're doing great, but you can do a lot better.
Is that some salty criticism there?
Will I throw in a number just to get him active?
Go on, do it.
From what you are capable of, it's 5.
Oh,
Honestly, like, yeah, but like, honestly, you can do 10 times better than what you do. So that's basically by 0.
I'm taking it in a good way, mate.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I'm
nice.
trying to be.
It's kind of almost like crying after this. Like.
Seriously, no.
No, I know what he means.
Yeah, like, I've always thought that about you. Like, you're always so consistent, but you can do a lot more than what you're doing. Honestly.
Yeah, like I know I've caught like bigger stuff in training and stuff,
Yeah.
and then so
So be a
Just
little more
increase
like
it.
Alex sometimes.
Jay Hemp.
Push it out.
Yeah, you should push that, like, get that handstand back, like it. Just change
Who
it.
needs a
performance
handstand?
altogether.
He actually got a handstand.
You can never do a press, mate. You can't hold the top, like.
Who needs a handstand?
Full time press and handstand.
For what?
I'll just go back there real quick.
Fitz, you haven't trained in a year, mate.
Just a handstand, like.
Without complaining about your shoulder.
Oh,
just so much niggle going on.
Back now.
Yeah, but it was a great performance.
Thanks, Ed.
Give it 6.5.
Well, I bumped it up. Just imagine heads like.
Right, so yeah, this is going to be the end of the year one. So, since 2019, how do you think it was for a year in total with Bar Monkey? How was 2019 for Bar Monkey?
I think it was our best year so far. So
We have World Cup coaching courses actually got started by Jamie. Like, then, like the kids, like the level of the kids is just ridiculous. Like we've had to add an extra level 2.
and Koi, I started working for Geraghty in 2019.
As he sits there on his phone, like
Eating a sandwich.
yeah.
Okay, stop playing tennis with your hands there. What are you doing?
Get your hands above the table, guys.
Keep your hands where we can see them. No, genuinely, I think just Koi, stop throwing the t-shirt. No, I think it was our best year. Like as you said, like woke up, we got the coaching courses started. We were in more schools than we were ever previously. We're in demand. We've more coaches than we've ever had as well.
Yeah.
And we're running more stuff than we've ever run before. We just lost Jay Hemp, but we got Jay Hemp back as well. Like.
Yeah, being retained.
Yeah.
First time coach
Got that
now.
retention. Then he got hooked in on the judging, like just can't get away. Like.
Swapped out.
Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I don't know. So you were saying, you mentioned the World Cup and also in terms of like accomplishments and steps forward, what were the biggest ones of the year?
Obviously the World Cup like comes first, and then like having the 2 English lads come over with Flynn and Luke. We've talked about that for like last 2 years, having like an English versus Irish comp, and I've seen like 2 sets of young lads at that level, like it's unbelievable. Yeah, so like having more things like that, where like we're hoping to get Holland for ages, like bodyweight versus Bar Monkey, stuff like that, getting those little competitions going. It's like they've already started now, that way. So
yeah, I think with our reputation is better. Like maybe when we contacted them before, they were a bit like, who are you or something, I don't know. But whereas now we probably do have a better credibility to organise them kind of events. Especially getting the 2 lads from England over, like that probably wouldn't have happened 2 years ago.
Yeah, as well, it's really growing. Like, because I rang you the other day. I was down in Kildare the other day and went into a gym, just a small little gym, like, and then I just started talking about Bar Monkey, and he was like, "Yeah, I know Bar Monkey, I know Jamie." Yeah,
so
we actually ran a workshop in his place.
Yeah.
Just by coincidence, like that.
Was it number 1 fitness or something?
Yeah, number 1 fitness skill Cullen.
Yeah.
Another bloke for the lad, like.
Right, so 2020 is just around the corner. What's the plans going forward for that?
Well, Fitz is back, like.
Fitz is funny, you finished college, like.
Also,
Full-time athlete, Jay paying me.
Also not injured, like.
Full-time athlete, Jay paying me, like.
Is
With
it
everything.
sponsoring it?
Yeah, sponsor me to not work.
Sponsor this lad, he'd be injured after 2 weeks. Be on sick leave for the rest of it, like.
The going literally today is the 1 year anniversary of when I got injured in the last row bars competition.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
It's
1 year,
been a great
anniversary.
year. Actually, just talking about like what were your best things for 2019, he's just sitting there with goddamn injured all year.
Yeah, you were injured quite a lot actually. 2020.
Such a fun year.
Yeah, Jesus
Literally from
Christ.
December to December to now. It's only getting back training now.
That's crazy.
Damn well bad.
I have a lost. So Arron didn't even answer.
I'll answer the question again.
Plans for 2020.
Well, Aaron's got plans to get back training.
Yeah.
But
Proper try.
But then
He's gonna win all the bars next year.
Are you gonna?
Yeah, no, I do.
It's always in December, isn't it?
Tuesday comes, oh my god.
Yeah.
Did legs, just in like did lots of squats yesterday, like deadlifts and all. Yeah.
Just in squats.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
The single leg glute bridge, how impressive now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big guns.
Zilch pain. Zilcho.
Fits back.
Got
You got
it.
everyone.
Also, Jay Aaron, like.
What about? What's your plans for 2020?
Lads, like.
Is that
No, we're after we got WSWCF recognition. One of the biggest things come out this year. So like anyone that's listening or watching or whatever, we'll be able to host a national competition next year, recognised by them. That means we'll be able to get people into those competitions that they organise. So that's a huge step forward for next year. We've a park in development that's going to go into the ground, be ready to go. The best freestyle park in the country. That's going to be ready to go with the summer. We've more coaching courses planned. So that's going to, as I said earlier, that's going to lead to more clubs. Which for us I think is really important, because like with the kids and stuff, it's great that we have our exhibitions and stuff, but like they're always going against each other. So you see it kind of in class, even though they're not. They're teammates, but like it's in the back of their mind. Like if I remember one or two of them last year and stuff, and if a kid wouldn't catch something, they'd be like, yes, because they technically feel like they're against each other. But if we have more clubs running stuff, and it gets to the stage where they're training kids that are good enough to do comps and stuff, and they can go against our clubs and interact with each other and stuff, then our club becomes like it's great at the minute. I'm not taking away, but I just mean like they go against each other, and they shouldn't. They should be teammates. That's why Flynn and Luke getting to go against the English lads was brilliant this year, because you could see the whole club supporting the two of them, and the kids like seeing when they saw Flynn catch stuff, like they're proper hopping around, like, do you know what I mean? Like all of them. So if we get more clubs running, it's not like it's great for our club that there's more clubs. Like everyone seems to think like, oh, don't be giving away stuff, or like don't be telling people how to do things, because keep it all for yourselves. Like, it's only going to benefit us having more stuff going. Like it'll benefit the sport. More stuff that benefits the sport benefits us. And then if we organise the national competition, which we will, biggest thing like I kind of feel will maybe so is convincing people to do it, like to do the freestyle competition. And like what we want people to kind of think of with that is like we spoke about endurance earlier and getting people up to that level. The only way we get people up to that level is by organising them level of competitions, and for them getting used to that structure of 3 minutes, 1.5 minutes for 2 rounds, and then 3 1 minute rounds. They have to get used to that. So that'll help as well. Like classic fitness. I was actually surprised you made an hour. So it'd be stuff like that next year. That's kind of, and then hopefully as athlete I'll compete in that, and you know, hopefully get into another world event.
Very good. Okay, so I think this is actually going to be obvious because you probably have already said it, but what stood out for you is the most of this year of everything?
This year, like?
Yeah.
Like
2020? 2019?
2019.
Yeah.
I think just seeing like how big the club actually is now. Like there's like 200 kids like involved with us, and then like the amount of different levels there is now. So like there's the babies at 4 to 6s, then 7 to 10s, then like the teenagers are completely full up now. Then they have to an extra level 2 class because there's so many kids that have progressed up to that level. Like when we first started, you had 8 kids trying to do stuff, and now there's so many of them in so many different classes, all at like that high of a level. Like it's unreal. Like the adults I used to teach would learn the moves that like the 4-year-olds are doing now. It's like the difference in that and seeing that and how good they've all gotten and how good like the relationships are in the class now. Like there's 4, like there's a group of 6 in every class. Like each group they're in, they're put in that group not because like they're level anymore. It's because like they're such good friends now. That's class to see that over time. That's built into it. Like it's deadly. Even the teenagers, like they're all hanging around each other now.
They do.
Yeah, that's deadly. Like
yeah, once there's more bars and stuff start going around, sure they think they'll be going.
it's like us playing a ball
like
when we're younger, like on the air show. That's all I did when I was younger. It's good for them.
Yeah, if the park goes in, that's where they hang out. And like LA has a bar in our back garden. That's where all the teenagers are hanging out. And yeah, I think that's a good point to like what Aaron said about like, cause when you're so like involved in it, you don't really notice the change or like the progress. It's only when you like come to the end of the year and you kind of look back and you're like, oh geez, this time last year it was this or it was that, and it's only when you've gone through the space of a year that you realise how much change has happened. Like, and we definitely have grown, and like you kind of keep thinking like, how can you just make it bigger again? And that's why really that's like, you know, that's why I get excited about running this, and that's why this is my like boundaries. You know, it's not just a job to me because you can always grow and you're never really like satisfied with where you are. You always want to look at what can we do next. If something goes well, what can we do to improve it? If something's not working, what can we change? So you're always kind of trying to evolve and, you know, make it better. But I think Flynn, I know we've already talked about loads, but like
Flynn wins 2019.
Flynn definitely wins 2019. Like he's after like he's also not just like his class as an athlete, but then the way he interacts with all the kids. Like he's a coach as well, and like his proper bar monkey is his thing now. Do you know what I mean? So to sum up, Flynn
wins.
Flynn wins. Alright, so that's it then, is it? Or I'll keep it like Flynn was like biggest in terms of athletes.
You said your sentence, like just wrap it up, mate.
Flynn wins.
Flynn wins.
You've lost everyone here, Jay.
Well, just for one more thing there was so we know what's happening in 2020. We know the park and everything, but if there's any predictions that you don't know what's happening yet, that will happen.
Flynn.
Flynn wins.
Flynn wins.
2020.
Fitz get injured 2 weeks down the line.
You can guarantee that.
Jay Garrow's elbow be at him, but he still did the World Cup and still won't do any dynamics though. And then what else will happen?
Flynn will win the World Cup.
Yeah, and Coy got home.
Yeah, Coy will go home in 2020.
April.
And DJ will still have long hair.
Why did you end on such a downer? Like,
I didn't do something.
yeah, you're so delighted.
Yeah, celebrate. He's got home to Tom Crunchy, the actual.
You're celebrating just because he was replacing you. Like,
how did he replace me?
He was
fat man.
He was stepping up the game. Like,
stepping up the fat level. How many pizzas you have this week, Coy? How many?
Keep going.
How many pizzas, Coy?
None.
How many?
No.
You told me.
he said Friday night is pizza night, mate.
Calm down, like alright, just one.
Fat boy.
Right, finish it.
You better leave this in. Alright, lads, we're done. Because Coy needs to go home and eat pizza.